healing is not linear. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. Life is going to continue to go on. Sometimes life will slap you in the face in the middle of your healing journey and something will trigger you, right? But it really depends on what your view is of healing and how you are going about the healing journey. Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Elevated Women's Podcast, where we are talking about all things healing and women's mental health. Today, I am actually incredibly excited for today's topic because we are talking about, if I'm healing, why do I feel so bad? And this is personally something that I think I wish I would have either researched more or heard more about. I thought when I was going through my healing journey, I guess I had a really limited view on what healing was. I thought that you were supposed to, do the work, do the shadow work prompts, and feel better. And it was just going to keep increasing, right, as you went through this healing journey, and that you weren't really ever going to feel bad again, right? Especially from the things that you quote unquote healed from. But quickly learned that healing is not linear. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. Life is going to continue to go on. Sometimes life will slap you in the face in the middle of your healing journey and something will trigger you, right? But it really depends on what your view is of healing and how you are going about the healing journey and not limiting your view on what healing is. So for me, I thought, again, that I was just supposed to do some shadow work prompts and that everything would work itself out. But I learned that, you're not just going to have a big emotional release. For me, it was crying, it was breakdowns, sometimes yelling, whatever that emotional release looks like for you. It is something that your body has to experience and go through because we have so many trapped emotions because we go through life. Society tells us we can't react. We have to hold everything in. We have to bury it deep down. And what that does, it just comes out in other ways that are not healthy. It can come out in aggression, passive aggression. It can actually fester and create medical illnesses within your body because when you think about it, your brain is an organ. I would argue that it's probably the most powerful organ that you have in your body. It controls everything. So if that organ allows you to feel emotions, it stores things, it processes things, and it doesn't know what to do with an emotion as you go through life, and it buries it and it traps it and it puts it in a part of you that, for lack of a better term, it just doesn't know what to do with. It's going to manifest itself in negative ways later on throughout your life, right? So I really think we're going through an epidemic in this country, and this is just my personal opinion, of not prioritizing mental health because this is actually, I think, the most focus we've had on mental health ever, probably throughout life, which is amazing, but it's been mind-blowing to me as I go through my healing journey, how much this is still not talked about. For me, it's been a big priority for me to heal myself, not only physically, because, I am a person that takes care of my body physically. And so I thought that was like the extent of healthy, right? But when you don't heal your mental health, and when you have trapped emotions and you're not releasing them, your mental health suffers. And when your mental health suffers, everything else in your life kind of suffers. What I will argue, though, is that emotional release exercises are crucial in your healing journey. For me, I do believe that is step one. I was a person that didn't believe in any of these things a couple years ago. I am type A, oldest daughter. If there's a problem, I'm going to solve it with logic. I'm going to analyze it. I'm going to do all the things that honestly you shouldn't do, right? Like I was so disconnected from my body and my intuition a few years ago that I didn't even know what it meant to connect to your body, to heal. I honestly thought I didn't have anything to work on and heal from. I just thought you had to work harder in order to get the results you wanted in life. And I just think that I can relate to so many people. If you're watching this and if you're an oldest daughter or a woman in general that has just gone through this society that has essentially told you to repress your emotions in any way, to not be considered soft, to not tell everybody your feelings because nobody cares. Like, whatever your experience has been with society and you repressing emotions, we've all been there. This video is for you. You have to heal. And this is something we have to talk about and we have to heal from. Emotional release exercises are only the first step, right? There are so many aspects when it comes to healing yourself, and we are going to talk about that and get into it today. So if you are still not feeling good on your healing journey and you know that there's something else you need to do, there are a few things that I have found that helped me greatly. The first thing for me is call out to that higher power. Whatever that higher power is for you, for me, it's God. But if you don't believe in God, whoever you believe in or the universe, call out to them and give them whatever it is you're worried about, whatever it is you're anxious about, you're fearful. Stop holding on and find something to believe in that is going to alleviate that pain, anxiousness, attachment, whatever you have to it. Just give it out, give it away. I know it sounds easy, but this is actually really difficult for people to do. It is hard for us to release control. And I promise you that when you start to release control in your life, more things will come to you, more good things. The problem with us having this trauma and needing to heal from things is because we're holding on to it. If there's nothing to hold on to, you essentially don't have anything to be fearful, anxious, worried about, right? So we as people hold and hold and hold and grasp, and we can't let it go, and we let it shape our identity, and we let it hurt us day in, day out. And the first thing you need to do is release it. You have to give it to someone. You can't be the only person that holds on to this. Maybe you don't have a friend to confide in. You don't have your mom and dad. Maybe they're the people who hurt you, right? Like, these are things that you have to give to a higher power. And that could be controversial, but I do believe in God, and God can handle anything. He has shaped me to be the person I am, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But he did not create you to be a worried person. He did not create you to be an anxious person. He did not create you to be a depressed person. And I know clinically, I'm clinically not certified to diagnose anyone. I am not a doctor, but so many things, again, happen in the mind. So many illnesses can manifest and happen in the mind. There can be a lot of things that happen to a lot of people, and it can be fixed sometimes if we start to release the pain. Hand it over to someone else who can handle it. You are not the only person qualified to handle every single thing that you've been through. You have to start believing in higher power, because when you do, then you will begin to understand that, essentially, no offense, you're not in control of much. Okay? Your life is going to continue to happen, right? Like, we can all have these experiences in life. They're all going to have to happen to somebody. Like, life will go on, and you honestly don't have as much control as you think you do. So when you start to release that control and hand it over to someone else, that way they can take the burden of it, whether that be God or the universe or whoever, you will start to realize that things will fall into place for you positively, because you're not clinging on to every single thing that happens to you in your life. The second thing that you are going to do is visualize. And hear me out, because this is not just the manifesting and the visualization. I actually want you to do something a little different. When you visualize, I don't want you to visualize what everybody tells you that they want you to visualize, right? Like you don't have to visualize yourself being a millionaire. And once you're a millionaire, then you'll have all this peace in your life. Like, take it down to basics, right? What does peace look like to you on an average day? Does it involve more walks? Does it involve meditating more, working out more, eating healthier foods? Does it involve, I don't know, going do not disturb for multiple hours within the day, or telling all your loved ones that you will be the one to reach out to them? They no longer can be the ones to reach out to you whenever it's convenient for them. Like, what does peace look like for you on an average day? I want you to visualize that and get very clear. I have a very clear vision of what my peace looks like on an average day, and I'm living that finally, because I'm out of the mode of needing to people please and be available for everyone when they need me. Again, oldest daughter, trying to heal that, but I'm out of that mode, right? Because I healed it. I realized that I don't have to let people define my value, right? I define myself. God told me who I am. I finally now am connecting with who I truly am. I don't need to seek external validation from everyone outside of me. And visualization has helped me with that because I have told myself that I'm going on at least 1 to 2 outdoor walks a day. That is what peace looks like for me. Connecting to nature, getting sun and vitamin D on my skin, not being available to talk to people all the time throughout the day, like maybe once a week is when I will answer the phone. If you text me, I will get back to you as soon as I am able to and want to. Like, what does peace look like for you? But a step further to that is I want you to create your anti-vision. When you visualize who you want to be, I want you to also visualize who you don't want to be. Okay, maybe you do not want to be that aggressive person anymore, that passive aggressive person anymore, or that person who isolates themselves when they get hurt. Maybe you want to actually be someone that connects with people and talks to them whenever you feel hurt in the moment, right? Maybe you don't want to be the person that just wants to keep the peace anymore and allows people to kind of bulldoze them in conversations. Like, what don't you want? Get really clear on that, because when you start to become clear on what your average peaceful day looks like, and then also what you don't want to be anymore, that version of you that's dying throughout this healing process, you really do need to get clear on that, because if you don't, you can easily slip back into old habits. And when you create an anti-vision, you're thinking about life through a lens of your lived experiences again, which is good, because a lot of times that's all we have. Like, it's really hard for some of us to visualize being a millionaire and saying that that would make us happy if we've never been a millionaire, right? We all say, oh, this would help us be happy, but we don't actually know that because we've not been there, right? Unless you've been there, that's different. If you haven't, then how can you know that that's actually what you want and that's going to make you happy? So when you look at it through a lens of your anti-vision, think of your lived experiences and how you have showed up in the past. Maybe you have showed up as that version of you that's too available. Maybe you don't want to be available for everyone any given second that they need you. Maybe you need to focus on yourself more every single day than you already do. Maybe you don't want to be that person that is passive aggressive anymore. Maybe you want to address conflict head on. Then you need to put that in your anti-vision. So after you create those two visions, being your dream peaceful version of yourself that's living her life to the fullest every day, and that anti-vision of yourself that you no longer are going to be showing up for, I want you to pick 3 things, 3 actions, not 10, not 20, 3. Okay? 3 simple actions that are going to get you to that dream peaceful state and also keep you away from that anti-vision that you created. And so when I say 3 things, I want them to be simple. And it may not sound simple to you at the time, but I promise the more and more you work on this and the more and more you heal, it will become simpler. But an example of this would be, I'm going to stop lying. I'm going to stop telling little white lies. And I'm going to do this because I don't want to continue to put other people's feelings ahead of my own. Maybe this helps someone in the moment, but long term, it doesn't make me feel good to lie to this person about this thing or tell them that, I was okay with them making me feel uncomfortable in this situation when I really wasn't. Just stop. Just decide that you are going to start prioritizing yourself. Maybe it is something like you're going to stop isolating, in the future whenever you're hurt. Maybe you're going to decide to get a new friend group. Maybe you're going to stop talking to all the people that you've been talking to. Not saying you should. I'm just saying if you don't feel good with the current level of people that you're with, then create something that's going to make you meet new people. Maybe you're going to host an event. Maybe you're going to go to an event. Maybe you're going to start talking to people outside of that limited sphere of influence that you have. Like, create small visions and small actions for yourself that are going to help you get to that aligned vision. The third thing that you can do if you're still not feeling great on your healing journey is focus on you. Okay. I know this doesn't sound like it should even be a point, but So many things happen in our lives that take the focus and attention off of us that we forget to prioritize ourselves. Your friend needs you. She just went through a bad breakup. Now the attention is on her. Your parents need you to do something for them. Now the attention is on them. Your kids, they have something to do for school. Now your attention is going to them. Your husband, he wants to go out to dinner, which is fine, great, right? But maybe you don't feel like going to dinner that day. Maybe you feel like taking a bath. Maybe you feel like reading a good book. Maybe you feel like being alone. What does that feel like for you, right? Focus on you and put the focus back on yourself, okay? Another thing I will say with that is that if you are a type A person like me and you have friends, just any friends, it doesn't have to be anyone in particular, but don't try to bring everybody along on the ride with you. This healing journey is for you. And this is something I have had to remind myself of multiple times, right? Because me and my sister, we joke that we're cult leaders, and that whenever we get an idea in our head, we try to like rope all of our friends into it, or if we're ever in a space in life, we try to bring them along on whether it be a healing journey or a workout fitness journey, or now we're going to different restaurants, trying new foods journey. Like, that's great if someone actually wants to do those things, but not everybody's going to be in the same space that you are in life. In fact, a lot of times people won't be. So do not try to convince everyone else that they need to be healed just because you learned something, or they need to go on this journey with you, because it's not their journey. It's your journey. So again, put the focus back on yourself. Be okay with being alone and being honest with yourself and others about what you want to do, okay? Not what they should do, not what they should do with you, not asking them to validate if you're on the right path in your journey, not throwing it out there hoping that you'll get their feedback to see what they say about you going through your journey. No, you focus on you. Building on that, number 4 is focus on one thing at a time. I know up to this point, you're thinking that all of this sounds so simple, but this is what healing is. Healing is getting back to the basics, okay? We all, again, have society tell us that we should be millionaires by the age of 25, and then we should have a house and kids by the age of 28, and then we should be working on building our business by the age of 29 and 30. Like, it's too much. I mean, those are just very broad, general topics, but you can only focus on one thing at a time. If your focus is on your healing journey, specifically to perform one random act of kindness a day, do that. If your focus is on improving your relationship with your significant other, focus on that. If your focus needs to be on journaling throughout the day, that way you get your thoughts down on paper, focus on that. Like, do not try to do 10 things all at once, because you will end up accomplishing nothing. And I'm telling you that from experience. I am that person that would try to take on 10 things all at once and then would end up not successfully accomplishing any of them, and then being frustrated thinking I'm a failure when I'm just not giving myself enough time, grace, to actually say, no, I'm going to take one thing at a time. I'm going to get successful on it, and I'm going to build on it. For me, it was actually doing shadow work and journal prompts every day. I told myself, again, healing my type A personality, that I was going to do shadow work prompts every day for 30 days. How far do you think I got? I probably got to day 3, and then I was like, this doesn't feel right to me to do it this 4th day, because I was still recovering and healing from the past 3 days. Like, healing takes so much out of you. Sometimes you have to sit with and process things for a week to think like, okay, I actually went through this. I am healing. I acknowledge that this happened to me. I acknowledge my part that I played in it. And I acknowledge that this is not going to be something that I heal overnight. So there's no use in me trying to press forward to heal something else that I'm still healing from the day before. So, one thing at a time. I do journal prompts when it feels good to me in my body. If I just go through a triggering experience, that's a good time to do a journal prompt that day for me. If I'm feeling like some emotions are coming up that I can't quite put my finger on, that's a good day to do some journaling for me. If I just feel like I have something to unlock because now that I'm more connected to my body, I can feel the times where I have something trapped that I need to just get out on paper and see what happens, like not even a prompt, I just have to start writing. You will be amazed by what your brain will conjure up and what will be unlocked when you just start writing. When you just start, like, it doesn't have to be anything profound that you put your finger on before you start. You just have to start. That's why everybody says that. Start writing, see what flows from it, see what comes out of it. And then I have had some of the best realizations when I have no plan going into my journaling sessions, when I have no prompt to go off of. I have unlocked some pretty interesting things about myself, and all in a good way. I don't demonize myself for anything that I have done or gone through or that I feel. I don't also put any pressure on myself anymore. Like I said, I do journal prompts when they feel good to me. So for you, what is your focus? It doesn't have to be daily. It doesn't have to be weekly. It doesn't even have to be monthly. Like, what is your focus and what are you going to think about improving to where you feel better whenever you would like to focus on? Like, you just have to identify that one thing though. This next point is going to be a bit controversial. But if you are still feeling bad on your healing journey, you need to accept and be thankful for your trauma. I know that is easier said than done. But when you think about your trauma and when you think about healing from it, you won't feel good. And by you repressing it even further or blaming someone else or yourself for what happened, you are still not healing. So not only do you need to acknowledge and accept it, but you need to be thankful for it because you overcame it. You are sitting here today watching this video because you are still alive and you still have the opportunity to heal from something that happened to you. So by being thankful for what happened, you're saying, okay, it happened. It did not make me feel good. It shouldn't have happened to me. This person should not have treated me like this, or this experience should not have happened. I feel not okay some days, and that is okay. But the lessons that I have learned and the growth that I have seen within myself, I am thankful for. So it may not be so much of you being thankful for the trauma itself, but be thankful and give yourself praise and thanks for overcoming it, for being on a journey that allows you to try to heal yourself, because that is farther than a lot of people get in life. A lot of people don't think that they have anything they need to heal. They don't even acknowledge the bad things that happen to them, and it hurts them physically, mentally, psychologically. They can't even get to a point where they are accepting of themselves or accepting of others because they haven't accepted themselves. And that makes for a very, very sad life, right? When you don't accept anyone else around you or yourself because you've let your trauma win, because you've let the bad things that happen to you in life win. So maybe it is not fully accepting and being thankful of the trauma itself, but be thankful for the person that you are now that has tried to overcome the trauma. Be thankful for the growth that has come out of you going through the trauma. Be thankful of what you have overcome. Because I will tell you that the amount of people in this world that are actually truly healing and trying to get better from the negative experiences that they have gone through is not many, okay? You are an elite few, I promise you. It is a small percentage of people that are actually trying to actively get better in a way that heals them from the inside out. That way they can become a better person for others through being a better person to and for themselves. And it is a really sad life, in my opinion, because I've seen it happen within my family and friend group. Okay, when you let your trauma win. When you let your trauma win, you're telling yourself that you are not good enough to heal from what you've been through. You don't love yourself enough to acknowledge those negative things that happened to you and then actively work on healing them within your mind. That way your body can benefit. That's what I believe. Because when you don't love yourself, you don't love anyone else. I'm telling you this from lived experiences with family members. I have family members that were supposed to be very close to me that do not love me. But it's not that they don't love me. It's that they can't. They don't love me because it's not even a choice to them anymore. They don't love me because they don't love themselves. And that is a sad life, in my opinion, to live. I actively chose to heal from that. That way I can love my children and my spouse the way I want them to be loved, because I love myself and I chose to heal. And now, by me loving myself and giving myself that time to heal, to go through, to experience the emotions, to work on myself, I'm now able to give that love and healing to others. So I am thankful for what I went through, and I am thankful for the people that were in my life that showed me what not to do in my journey. That way I could heal from it, and that way I could love and respect others. And I'd never thought about this until recently, in the last few years. I used to think, why would this person treat me like this? Why would they do this to me? How could they possibly not love me? It's because they don't love themselves. And you have to be, and whatever your traumatic experience is, it may not be that, right? But you are a stronger person because of it. Maybe you don't want to be strong, but it's happened, and it's results from you going through what you went through. And you should be proud of it. You should be proud of the person that you are now from going through and overcoming what you went through. So I really do hope this helped. And as you go through life, I want you to remember that life is a journey. It's meant to challenge you. It's meant to not control you, but make you go through things in a way that make you think differently. And it's meant to be appreciated and lived. And this is something that I never really thought about until recently. Don't go through your healing journey thinking that you need to heal every aspect of yourself all at once, because it's not going to happen, unfortunately. We are all going to have things that we go through throughout life that are going to trigger us, that are going to challenge us, that are going to change us, sometimes for the good, sometimes for the not so good. And the only thing you can start to do that will make this a little bit easier is change your perspective, shift it. That is when you will know that you've reached a new level in your healing journey. When you are starting to be appreciative of the things that you have now in this moment, or appreciative of the things that you've been through, and you start to build. You focus on yourself. You take things one step and one day at a time. You aren't feeling overwhelmed and like you just can't get through life, because you've now brought yourself back to a space of prioritizing you. Like, that is where you are supposed to be. If you live in the past, you're depressed. If you live in the future, you're anxious. But if you live in the present moment, you're in bliss. So I really do hope that this helped. And I will say, until next time, sis, keep healing, because it looks really good on you.